Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the Kicked Out at 2 AEW Dynamite review. This is Quags coming at you with Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Doing well, doing well. Quacks, you did a phenomenal job. I usually, before these videos start, I usually give them like kind of a countdown. I gave them the worst countdown like in the world. And I realized
the
that when I was putting my fingers up, and then Quack still hit
the
it out of the park. So that's great.
the the one was kind of like a finger, like, and it turned into a point, but it's all right.
Yeah.
We're just managing.
We're going it.
Well,
We're doing it.
our good buddy Eric Sharb is out on his secret mission. I think only a couple more weeks now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll have him back soon.
We miss him.
He couldn't even send us his opinions this week. That's how swamped he's been. So
That's how secret it is, man.
I'm excited to actually be able to talk about what he's doing.
Yes.
But anyway, until then, we'll leave you all in suspense. All right, so Dynamite came at us on May 19th, 2021, from Daly's Place. Pretty soon we're going to be moving around the country, but we're still at Daly's Place for now. I always think it's weird now that the sun is up when the show starts,
Yeah.
and it's like light outside. Gives you that
No.
weird feeling. The show was kicked off by Christian Cage and Matt Sydal. They had sort of a match that was a little bit grinded out in the beginning. Ended with a bit of a flurry where Christian Cage won with the kill switch. Still think Unprettier is the better name, but that's all right. There was a mutual show of respect with Sydal and Christian Cage as Taz mouthed off at Christian from the announce table. Ricky Starks came out to challenge Christian, but really just distracted him, and the rest of Team Taz came out and attacked him. Then Hangman Page came out, handed his drink to Starks on the runway. That was pretty great.
Yeah, that was
And
awesome.
then briefly got some shots in before Team Taz overwhelmed him. And then Starks drank Page's drink as he stood over him in the ring. You kick it off, man.
The match in itself, it was hard to be invested in it, to be honest. You got like a face versus face match with like no history. So it's kind of hard to and it was kind of like
What do you mean
randomly
no
thrown.
history? They cut one promo last week. Come on, man.
It's just about to get into that. As in, like, that's the only thing that like we got the backstory of. And especially like Matt Sydal was just like, oh yeah, I was in this like casino battle royale before. I'm like, yeah, we don't worry. We all remember for the wrong reasons when he slipped on the top rope. But like happens,
Yeah.
man. It happens. Match was good. It picked up at the end, which I enjoyed. I actually liked the part where Ricky Starks kind of was calling him out. I'm like, good, give him more TV time, give him the mic. He's doing great. I actually
Especially even though he's hurt, right?
no, yeah, that's what I'm kind of confused with, is that like I don't think he's gonna be in the casino battle royale. So I was like, yeah, you got to make use of him as you can. If he's hurt, he can't go in the ring. I liked how he's waving his guys over as if they're coming out of the tunnel, and then they just came in from behind. I was like, okay, that was a heel tactic type move.
Nice subtle little thing they did there. I
Yeah,
agree.
exactly. I'm like, okay, they tricked him. No one looks stupid. That's fine. And then yeah, I loved it when Paige just hands him his beer, like, hold this, and then everything like. It was hard to be invested in this match, but at the like post match, like all like the things that were going on, it made sense, at least, as in like, yeah, when Team Taz, like they're all like they're a unit, they all are on the same page, and then you get like three like good guys. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would the good guys even like win in this scenario, which they didn't. So I liked how like Hook is this like this kid who just chop blocks Page, and then Brian Cage is the one power bombs him. I think everything made sense. So match was like all right, but I did like the post match stuff. Everything made sense.
I like the story they told in the match. I agree there wasn't much before the match, but it seemed like Christian was trying to keep Sydal down off the ropes, which we know he can be a high flyer and has a lot of great moveset there. And then Sydal did seem kind of dangerous. Like if he got up there, he could make a difference and kind of come back. So I like the way the match flowed. I really enjoy watching Christian Cage a lot more than I thought I would when he debuted. Think he's hustling,
guys, man.
I know you were right. I think you're definitely right. So I was into that. Yeah, all the stuff post match made sense. I think AEW actually does a pretty nice job of bringing together some feuds that you're not thinking of, or you're not thinking that's the first thing. Like
the pairs and feuds, I like what they do sometimes, as in like it makes sense, and then like it doesn't kind of insult you at the same time, as in like, oh, I didn't see that coming. That was good.
Right. They do get too cute with it, which we often lament them for, or would lament ourselves, whatever. I'm trying to use vocab words, but we get after them for doing that. But this time it was all right. All right, so moving on, Varsity Blondes, and specifically Brian Pillman Jr., said his father kept him away from wrestling until they met the Young Bucks. The story of his dad obviously is getting a lot of attention now. Some kind of dark side. Is it Dark Side of the Ring, or is it just Dark Side of the Ring-esque? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't go into that whole story, but you can wiki it if you don't already know.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, this was a nice little compelling promo. Made me care about Varsity Blondes, who before it's funny how little they have to do to make me care just that much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's like the small stuff, right? Like we kind of saw that the Varsity Blondes against the Young Bucks. If you told me last week, I'll be like, oh, okay, Young Bucks are just going to beat them. At least, again, like simplicity is great. Where they just give like a small little promo. It's nice to get some backstory on Brian Pillman Jr. Kind of makes it more important of how much investment he's going in. Like we all said it before, even with Eric, like these small 2-minute like even a minute thing could make so much more of a difference in that story going into the match. So it's good. And they're both young, it seems like, and they're have a new we were just ragging on her before where she looks like she's 15. But this is the perfect match. We'll just talk about AEW. She's like the perfect match for them. They're doing this like high school like football like varsity act, and she's the cheerleader. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect.
I'm just Googling it now. Is it Julie Hart?
I think it's Julia Hart.
Julia Hart. Yep, that's right.
There you go. She's blonde too, so just like everything.
I know it's fun. It's just a little thing, but it did make a lot more sense.
Yes.
Okay, next we had Moxley and Kingston. Oh man, I'm amped to talk about this. Moxley and Kingston against the Acclaim. Oh no, sorry. This is yeah. They did the promos and then
they did two promos,
sorry.
both of them, and then they had the match.
Yeah, they did. They both did promos, had the match. Lots of action here. I thought a lot of more of a traditional tag team match flow, but they had really good chemistry. Moxley taking a lot of punches, acting like a wild man. Ultimately, Moxley and Kingston hit a tandem paradigm shift, which I don't know if I've seen that before on Dynamite at least. And they beat the Acclaimed. But thing we have to talk about first is Max Caster coming out there with the rap,
so good,
saying your wife's all in my mentions, trying to get me on those oral sessions, which is Renee, John Moxley's wife's podcast name. So that was just too good for me. Oh, and before that, I loved how Kingston and Moxley are really crushing these promos. At first, I wasn't totally sure. I think that they found a vibe with it, and maybe I've just gotten used to them more. But he goes, "The Acclaimed, what are they? Rappers."
Yeah, the rapper. Yeah,
rapper and a rapper's friend.
Yeah,
I was dying. I have a note here later, but sometimes Dynamite is genuinely funny and not like cringy WWE funny,
forced funny, as in like I feel like sometimes when you watch WWE, I should like have like laugh now sign like, and they're gonna light it up or whatever. I feel like that's what they want for whatever. But yeah, AEW does that very well, where it's just like, yeah, he's a rapper and rapper's friend or whatever. Like that is just genuinely funny.
Yeah. As far as the match, well, first of all, I loved how Mox rushed them as soon as they got done with the rap, because absolutely deserved it. Oh man, if we could just stay on the rap for another second. When they said we're the real paradigm shift, these two guys give each other Valentine's gifts. Oh my gosh. Yo, the Acclaimed was another one. That was another one you said you got to be on. I'll agree with you, man.
I told you, man. As soon as I heard the first rap, I'm like, oh, dude, if this guy keeps like spitting out like just like golden lines and not like be cringy and not forcing it, he could be like, this could be very good. And then luckily I was right. Like every time he's out there, I even watched like the Acclaim like on Dark and all those episodes, whatever. He does it all the time. Like it's like, granted, it's like maybe not as specific, but they're all different. Like I was like, oh, okay, give credit to that guy. That guy could just like right for days then at this point. If he's making different jokes on Dark and not even saving them for
Well,
Dynamite, then like
especially for Dark, like
yeah, like how many
who's
people are
he? I
watching
mean,
it?
right? Yeah, that's great. Big fan. The wrestling was good. Like I said, I thought they had good chemistry. I thought they went back and forth well. I think Moxley's really coming into like a different level of his character.
Yeah.
Like the way he's wrestling, the way I mentioned it, but like taking those shots. Sometimes like not letting them really affect him, but it looks like he's just absorbing it. Like he looks tough and he looks crazy.
Yeah.
Big fan.
So good. Like you could tell that like in WWE he was so burnt out and just like was so fed up with a lot of things, and you could just like you kind of gave that energy. But now this time you could just tell he's having fun and a good time. Especially, I like this Mox and Kingston tandem. I think AEW does this very well. Like I know they take their tag team wrestling very seriously, but a lot of the times you get worried about like, oh, like what do we do with these two guys? Oh, let's put them in a team and then do this tag team thing. And it's just like there's a difference between two guys tagging together and being a tandem, and then there's two difference of like, oh, there's two single guys just tag with each other or whatever. It's like sounds like the same, but it's really not. And honestly, when Mox and Kingston were like thrown together, I know they were good friends, so I knew that they would do well, but I was just like, I didn't think they would do this well. They're naming their tag team moves like they like that violent crown and that tandem paradigm shift. Like they're taking it seriously to the point where they have the pay-per-view match with the Young Bucks. So I am genuinely excited for that now because I feel like all of them are going to do very well in that scenario.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, we can go back and forth on wins mattering in AEW, and sometimes that means that you just go on like how Britt Baker took advantage of it. You go on Dark, you go on Elevation, you beat a bunch of no-name people, and all of a sudden your record is inflated. But
Yeah,
I'll honestly take that over two dudes that are single competitors randomly forming a tag team and all of a sudden challenging for the
and then just
championship.
so this is what I also like about like the rankings are kind of like loose structure, but like when Mox and Kingston, like the Acclaimed, I think they know what they're doing storyline wise. I think the Acclaimed they were the number one ranked tag team.
I think
Or
they were three.
they were
Well,
three or
wait.
something
So
like
so
that.
Varsity Blondes was the number one
Oh, that's
contender.
right.
So that's why they got the
Yes.
match.
Yes.
The Acclaimed was right after them, and then Mox and Kingston were right after them.
So like it kind of makes sense now. Like they beat the Acclaimed. Varsity Blondes, like spoiler, they did not win, but it's all right. I don't think anyone's like doing any of that. But now like it kind of makes sense like storyline wise, like okay, logically this could make sense of why they would get there and stuff. And like like even like all the stuff like storyline stuff, this was I liked the match. It was a fun match. Like I think they pulled off very well. That Kingston's usually the one grabbing the heat of like they were working on his leg a lot. I'm a big proponent of like old school stuff like that, work on a body part, keep going through, and then have Mox come in when he clocked him right, like when they finished their rap. I thought that was hilarious. Even the announcers are cracking up. Like,
Yeah.
he just goes after him. This match is good. I enjoyed this a lot.
Absolutely. I'm with you. All right. So next we just had Jericho quickly talking with the doctor and saying that he was not going to give a scoop on whether or not they were going to accept the challenge.
Yeah.
Anything to say about that? Yeah.
I will say real quick though, he did give homage to like a big like WCW like promo he did. Dean Malenko was like the man of 1,000 holds, and Dean Malenko was there.
Oh, yes.
Dean Malenko made a joke as in like, oh, didn't you know like 4 more or something like that? I was like, okay, if this was going to be a throwaway type of thing, at least they kind of did threw him a bone like that. That was cool.
Well, I didn't even catch that. So there you go. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So then we had Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky with Tony Schiavone only briefly until they kicked him out. And they cut a promo on Sting. And Darby. Page and Scorp. Oh, never mind. That's my note. So then eventually Sting came out. Darby came out. They attacked them. Dark Order eventually cut them off as Page and Sky tried to run away. They had to flurry away or scurry away on side stage.
Yeah. This is good promo work. Like I know you said you were a big fan of Scorpio Sky. I'm a big fan of Ethan Page. They're doing well in the promo department. It's like I want to like we're finally getting the match right at Double or Nothing.
Right.
So I'm glad that we're actually going to see them. Like they've been on Dark actually constantly, and it's weird. We were just talking about like two guys thrown together a little bit, like Mox and Kingston are doing great as a tandem. It seems like a little bit that Scorpio Sky wasn't doing anything. Ethan Page we just signed. How do we get these guys on TV? All right, let's put them together. This seems like a little bit more of two single guys just being together instead of being a tandem, which is fine. I think their promos are great though. I liked how Scorpio Sky said like, yeah, I love Sting. And then I grew up and then I realized he wasn't the guy he was. I'm like, oh, okay. That was good. And I wish I could talk because me and Eric used to go back and forth on Ethan Page. And maybe when he gets on, we'll see where Ethan Page is at, where I could argue with him. I think Ethan Page is phenomenal right now. I think like that's what AEW needs is like broad guys who weren't a giant face in a major company and just like kind of be a little bit more of homegrown. And yeah, he was a little over eccentric, screaming, saying, I'm going to be the nail in your coffin and all that stuff like that. But like,
I like that.
Yeah, it was good. It was just giving like kind of more like energy into like something that like we saw coming for weeks now and stuff like that. And he was like so pumped saying like, yeah, I threw him down the stairs and everything. That was great work. And then of course, Sting and Darby Allin had to get retribution. So I'm glad this is leading to their match finally.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything to add except for the criticism I always levy against them, which is that they didn't respond to the crowd when they were booing them. But that's okay. Like, you know, it's something that they're going to have to figure out. And by the way, it maybe wouldn't stick out so much if it wasn't for someone like Miro cutting the promo. Well, we'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to that, man. That's hilarious.
So, yeah. And I love the little Dark Order coming out bit too, where they're like, no, you're not just running away. And so they had to kind of scurry off the other. All right, next we saw the Pinnacle. They were having a fancy dinner backstage. MJF said that he will have the last word with Jericho. Dash says, this isn't an SNL skit, this is serious. And then Sean Spears assaulted the waiter for some reason. I didn't really know why. Something about didn't have his drink.
Didn't get his drink first or something like that.
Yeah, that was strange. So then MJF said, if the Inner Circle does Stadium Stampede, it'll be their last match. I like that, like, in the same with the Inner Circle promo later, that it's not just MJF. Like, I liked Dash. It is Dash that did that, right? It's not
Dax.
The other one.
Dax.
That was, oh my gosh.
You picked it, you smushed their names together. It's Dax and Cash. Together they're Dash. His name used to be Dash, so yeah.
I'm the worst wrestling podcaster.
Oh, man, you're giving me all the scoops. Dax, yeah.
Yeah, Dax I thought that was a good promo. Dax and Cash, I thought that was a good promo or a good little piece in the whole bit of it. I like that they're like setting them up like the Inner Circle's like the punk rock group basically, and you know, they're the fancy boys having like the nice dinner backstage. MJF is compelling. This is very compelling.
No, it was good. Like, I even liked that, like, it was in a dinner setting. So it kind of gave like a little bit of a shout out of like, that's how Jericho and MJF kind of like came together, that dinner Dave and Air thing. So it's kind of cool that this comes into full circle, Inner Circle, no pun intended. I feel really lame about myself now, but we're going to keep going. Dax is really good on the mic. I think he's very underrated.
I was shocked.
He's good on the mic. And I remember he had that match with like Jungle Boy, he had a match with Jericho. Like, he's good, like very good, like on his own. And now like he's good on his own, and he's phenomenal with Cash and FTR. So it's like that's awesome. Like showing out like what you actually have. I like that he said that, like, Stadium Stampede won't be like hokey SNL skit rom-com. I was just like, oh, this is great. And like the Spears thing was weird. I was just like, why is he assaulting this guy? But it's finally giving him character,
a persona.
Yes. As in, like, Spears was honestly, he was so bland. Like when he first joined in, like,
I mean, he hit Cody with a chair the wrong way, and they're like, they call him the chairman, and that's his character. Like,
And I was just like, well, okay. And then he lost, and then he just started doing weird hokey stuff, and then they had nothing for him. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's gonna go in the back now. Like, where he's good too, but like, so this is finally giving him more character, as in I think he's trying to get more edgier and be a little bit more crazier. Again, he's the one who needs, like, everyone flourishes in the Pinnacle, but he needs the Pinnacle the most out of anyone, just to kind of make sure he's staying relevant and get more of a character in there.
100% agree. They're using it to elevate all of those dudes separately, and so far I think it is working.
Yeah, I
So
think so. And then you got totally tossing the money wad or whatever just to just to make
yeah,
sure like that should cover it. I'm like, yeah, that seems like a characteristic thing that they would do or whatever. But this is good.
yeah, yeah. It was good. Fit the bill.
Mhm.
All right, then we had Rebel, not Reba, versus Sheida.
I don't get that.
Um, yeah,
Like,
I don't understand either. They had this like long sketch situation thing, and I just missed all of that. That was like when
yeah.
I wasn't watching Dynamite. Um, so Sheeta was about to win pretty convincingly, and then Rebel uses the crutch, but Sheeta kicked out and won by exploiting the knee injury. Brit then came out and attacked Sheeta and slammed her onto the championship belt that Brit will be challenging for / winning at Double or Nothing.
She better, or else they're stepping back.
Anything additional to say about this except for
Yeah, the curb stomp on the belt was cool, but everything else was very predictable. We always knew that like Rebel is a kind of like a quirky type of person. So, and you're going against this champ who's been like the longest reigning champ in quite some time. You knew it was going to be short, but the stomp was cool. I'm excited for the match.
I know I almost feel bad for Sheeta because I feel like this feud is finally giving her some more character and like reason for being, but at the same time, like
we know where it's going.
It's 100% Brit's time now. So.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, this next one was great. Okay, so then we had Kenny in trying to intimidate Kenny and Don Callis, Orange Cassidy. They played it like it was a flashback to right after the match was ended last week after Orange got hurt. And Kenny was saying, "Hey, I'm not just a wrestler. I'm an EVP. Want you to be healthy. Look, you can challenge me down the line, but just not at Double or Nothing." By the way, unclear if it was going to be for the belt or not. It just said you can wrestle Kenny Omega later. Orange Cassidy ripped up the document. Kenny threatened him. They gave him another document knowing that he was going to rip that one up to try and postpone the match. But yeah, not taking it. I thought, I mean, like this Kenny character is kind of, what is it exactly? This to me, and
it's
Don
wacky.
Callis is, he's carrying it. And giving it that kind of like serious edge. Yeah, I really enjoyed this segment to the like down to the having the extra contract because they said that, oh, we knew you were going to rip up the first one, but why don't you take this? I mean, down to the equipment guy being like, I can't believe that they would do that, like shaking his head in the background. Yeah, a good way to take an unfortunate bump that happened last week and to turn it into like a little bit of story. I mean, I loved it.
No, I thought that was good how they kind of like tied it in together. Like he said that like if you thought that power bomb was bad, imagine like me dropping on your head when he said the one wing angel. I was just like, okay, he's telling him as in like this is what's gonna like happen, and it gives like such back like this wacky jerky character. He gives such backhanded compliments like, no, like you're really important to the company. Like we want you to be okay. We want you to be like the mascot. I'm like, oh my god, like
oh yeah, man, that was really good.
Yeah, that's like,
yeah,
like if someone calls you the mascot, I'm like, oh, that's so like offensive, but just so funny at the same time.
Yeah, and it's like you know what you mean it to be, but you think that they're dumb enough that they'll think it's a compliment.
Exactly.
Like that's how low you think of them.
And Orange Cassidy staying in character is always slowly ripping the papers. I was like, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
And then being like, oh no, okay.
Yeah, and they're just like staring and watching, ripping like, okay. And then they just give him the other one. That was good. Yeah, this is like, I was a little bit worried when going into this. I'm like, oh, they're gonna do something like really awkward and weird again, but this like kind of made sense.
Yeah, for sure. All right, then we get to the big inner circle. Are they going to accept the Stadium Stampede match? You're going to be surprised by the answer.
Yeah, I bet.
Ortiz started off, said he wants to fight. Sammy said he wants to fight, and that it's never going to end. This feud is never going to end. Jake Hager with the surprise good promo of the night, I feel like, said the last thing they want is to be like the Pinnacle. Jericho got more thoughtful, more serious. He said he was terrified when he got thrown off the cage, asks if it was worth it. Ultimately says it was 1000% worth it because of the revenge he's going to get on MJF. And of course, they accepted the stadium stampede.
When they like came out, I was just like thinking in my head, I'm like, what happens if they just don't accept? That would be like the weirdest thing ever. But obviously, that wasn't going to happen.
Is anyone happier than Jericho as he listens to everyone sing Judas every time he comes out to the ring?
He must be so pumped. He's like, thank God this caught on. Now, like I breathed in a new life into his band Fozzy again.
Fozzy?
Yeah, Fozzy's just like, Jericho, you're killing it. Keep going.
I'll tell you what, I was had it not been for the pandemic, was definitely planning on going to that rock and wrestling
the
cruise
thing.
I mean,
yeah, that would be fun.
Because I think it would be hilarious to see Fozzy like in a situation like that. Like, yeah, I don't know, just all wrestling fans basically just like waiting for them to play the one song.
Singing one song and that's it.
No shots at Fozzy. Yeah, this had some of this. So good things. I like that they're building up the different members, just like the Pinnacle. Yeah. They're having different people talk, not just Jericho, and everybody else is like a stand-in. I really did like Hager's bit. I thought that was well done. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard him talk very much since he was Jack Swagger. A little bit more the like, you have to kill us, killing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
they're trying to be like the edgier, like you said, like the Pinnacles, like the fancy guys and stuff. Whether they're trying to be like, of course, one of them had to say bitch, so I think it was Jake. But like at the same time, like also I kind of wish Santana was there. I'm sure there's a reason why he's not. But they said he's gonna be back next week, which is good. It's just weird, like not to like you need the 5 of them, but also like Ortiz sticks out awkwardly a little bit more, just because Santana's not there. But I thought the delivery was great. I thought Jericho like kind of, you knew where he was going with it, of like he's just screaming, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And he's like, and then you knew he was just gonna go nuts, as in like, oh yeah, it was worth it, and I'll do it and then do it all again or whatever. That was cool.
Yeah, for sure. All right, good stuff. Oh, then we had I sorry, keep reacting to this segment before I say what it was. But then we had Jade and Tony. We had a manager person interrupt, say that they wanted to sign Jade, but Jade was the boss. He would work for her. And that, why are you doing another stand-up interview with Tony? Where's your sit down with JR? Time to move on from this. Yeah. Let's get her signed or whatever.
I'm just more shocked that this is the lawyer guy is like the front runner. I'm like, this is the guy. And I'm like, all right, whatever. If they make him a character, it is what it is. But yeah, you gotta pull the trigger sometime.
Yeah, my guess is that he's more of a blank slate to us, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then we had Red Velvet and Serena Deeb for the NWA Championship. They didn't do any promos. I just have like that they could have used some promos here. Went back and forth. Eventually, the Serenity Lock was completed by Serena Deeb, and Red Velvet tapped out. I like the moonsault press Red Velvet did off the side of the ring here. I thought it was okay. There were some good holds in this. There was also some good counters. I never thought Red Velvet was going to win. No. I think probably because they didn't do any build up for this at all, that I'm aware of, at least. I'm sure on
only build up I know from Red Velvet is that she comes from your mama's kitchen, and I have no idea where that is even going to or what that entails. But that's all I know.
Yeah, maybe too cute with that. A
little bit.
And then, I think like the little 2-minute promo thing, they could have really benefited from that in this match, because I didn't for 1 second really like, and Serena Deeb has been out, so why not give her a chance to kind of spout off?
Serena Deeb is very good. Like I thought this is like huge improvements of this, like wherever I remember we used to talk about a month ago, the women's matches were like rolling our eyes as in like another like train wreck, whatever.
Probably like 2 months ago now. I feel like it's been
give it time and stuff. No, it's been huge improvements. I actually thought the match was pretty good, but like I had no idea that like when they started, like Serena Deeb was like this vicious like heel, like type of bad guy person. I was just like, Okay. I didn't know that. I did not know anything about this really. I just thought that like, oh, here's just two women going at it. But like if they did have like a minute promo thing, I could kind of like understand that. Okay, Serena Deeb is this or whatever, or maybe this is like her heel turn or whatever. But the match was like pretty good compared to what we were experiencing 2 months ago.
Yeah, and to even know and understand like Red Velvet and her
Mhm.
character and the fact that she's right there maybe on the second level of the best women's competitors. That's an achievement they've built from there. So maybe I'm picking on this too much, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
And it's odd, to be honest, like you were talking about some of the moves in their matches. Thought like even this whole show, they've been doing so many dragon screws, like leg whips of like
Hmm.
attacking the knee. For some reason, that
Yeah,
just stuck out to me. I'm like, everyone's doing this or whatever. I was just like, could someone change it up? But I mean,
yeah,
it kind of worked in the match too.
yeah. True.
Mhm.
Okay, so then we had Pac, who's super pissed at Kenny. Um, that was good. I love him as the foil for Orange, who is more chill, like
Yeah.
just wants to wrestle, and Pac is like really pissed. What did he say? Like, who will beat the bastard then?
Yeah,
Oof, I
exactly.
like that. I like that a lot.
It's two extremes, which is actually like pretty cool. Like getting like
Yeah,
kind of like both tasting that.
yeah, absolutely. All right, then we had Austin Gunn against your boy. No, I'm just kidding. Anthony against Anthony Agogo. Pretty quick match. Agogo obviously came out with the British flag.
Mhm.
Cody was with Austin Gunn, came out with the American flag. At the end, Gogo threw the American flag, but Cody was able to catch it. Oh, I'll say Austin Gunn took two punches to the gut from
Yeah.
Gogo, and I guess it made it seem like he was bleeding internally, and
Mhm.
that's where the blood was coming from. The ref called the match. I thought Gogo looked better in this, and I liked
He
at least
did.
that they had that last move where it wasn't just a punch. Austin Gunn actually looked good in the 2 seconds that he was running around the ring doing moves.
Yeah.
Um, if anyone, I guess you can't really do like two countries against each other because it's just a bad look in 2021.
Yeah.
But
There's
so
also
if you're
no
gonna
build
do
to
it,
it.
I was gonna say that if you're gonna do it, it has to be I think this is all just building to Cody and a Go-Go,
Yeah.
right?
That's
But if you're
essentially what it
gonna do
was.
it, it has to be the US and England because no one actually is mad at like the other country.
Exactly. Why
But
would why would we be mad about them?
at the same time, like no one's mad about the other country, so it seems stupid.
It's just like there was just kind of like no build to this. This is like what's weird. It's just like we had that Cody promo from last week that like or 2 weeks or whatever it was. And it was just all the
They
intense topics. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, this guy just came in. He just joined the show last week and he pisses you off that much. Like, it's not
the,
the only
the
thing he said was
this wasn't
dirty
this guy
things.
wasn't
Like,
he training in your facility? Like he
yes.
was your boy then,
Yeah, they were all
and
in the
that's
same umbrella at the point when they had the Nightmare Factory. But I was looking at this, I'm like, God, I was just like, I was just really like not prepared for any of that. Like the delivery was great, but back to like
yeah.
but back to the match, like Austin Gunn was like a perfect candidate to make because yeah, we get the point of this. Sometimes they don't really execute it well. I think this served its purpose though. You got to make Anthony Gogo look like a star. He's going against Cody, one of the like head honchos there.
Hmm.
Austin Gunn, I think, did this a phenomenal job of selling it. I finally am, I think, happy that the whole gut punch thing. I like it that they kind of use it as more of a maybe um a momentum stopper or an equalizer, not so much of like, oh, he nails it. It's just like kind of like this cheap, oh, like one kill, whatever, you're done.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay. And then he sold it really well. And then the the pop-up knockout punch. I'm like, all right, that looks aesthetically more pleasing than what it was just
Yeah.
shown before. He looks like a star. That's what I think this match actually
He's
I flack him
he's
for a lot.
he's starting to get that like swagger a
Yes,
little
like
bit.
they want to make him a star. He should be smoking guys like Austin. Like, not no offense to Austin, got hurt, especially because he made Anthony Gogo look like a star. He's like a wrestler's wrestler. That like you need those guys.
Hmm.
But Anthony Gogo should literally be smoking so many of these like kind of like those low caliber guys just so that he looks relevant when he goes against Cody, because at the beginning we're just seeing Anthony Gogo going against no names and then just punch him in the gut. I'm like, I have no clue what this guy really brings to the table. This made him look way more relevant.
Well,
So
no names, no names and 50-year-old men
oh
or
yeah.
60-year-old men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do wonder where this goes. Like, does he beat Cody and then he goes on to bigger and better things, or
it's
I don't know.
weird because it's like he really hasn't been on TV. The whole presentation of this, if he was maybe built for maybe a month or two and not part of the factory, more of just kind of talking bad about the country, and then Cody says enough and then brings this American Dream thing, I'm like, that would have been way better storytelling than like QT Marshall just standing in the background with his bowling shirt, be like, yeah, America does suck, and I am not going to say anything. I'm like, that makes
His
no
bowling
sense.
shirt.
Yeah, no, that makes no sense.
So yeah, I guess like they picked a guy and they went with a Gogo over Nick Camarado. He's the monster guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would have gone with him, but I don't know. It makes me think they have a plan.
It must have.
Just because
Like, if they make some stars out of it, that's the goal. It has to be, is like getting these new guys and make them into relevant names. I don't think Aaron Solo is going to be on the top of that list, but that's just my opinion. I think Nick Camarado looks great, and Anthony Gogo looks like a star. I just think they know he needs a lot of work.
Well, out of all of them, Aaron Solo does not have a Wikipedia page, and the rest of them do. So that's a
that's always a good indicator. Solid indicator.
All right. All right. So then we had a little SCU promo where they recapped what happened last week. Daniels walked off instead of saying that he was done or not or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Frankie Kazarian cut a promo on the Elite saying that he's going to hunt all of them down. Never liked SCU more than I do now.
Yeah, they're broken up. It's like just when I started liking them, like, oh, I'll see you later.
I'm into Frankie being kind of a little assassin here. It just adds a wild card element to things. Like, does he interfere next week in the match with the Bucks and Mox and Kingston? Does he interfere with Kenny? Like, does he just wait? I don't know, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm
not that I want him to interfere, but just
yeah, I don't know if I'm like super excited. He says he wants to feud with the Elite. He's like, I'm gonna go against all you guys, and he just names 7 guys, and it's just him. So I'm just like, all right, like as AEW has shown that like, which they're running the same thing, numbers of strength, all these factions and stuff, and then Kazarian's like, I'm gonna go after the Elite. I'm like, well, okay, it's not gonna probably work out in your favor if we're suspending our disbelief here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, but. It's just like Daniels walks off, so you're wondering what he's going to do. And then you have Kazarian, who's just like so passionate about beating elite. Like, I'm not sure if I would be thrilled thrashing him in the main event as in like, oh, let me go against Omega. Let me go against all these like main event guys. Like, I don't know, but we'll see if he's compelling, like what the SCU was compelling at the time. Maybe it'll carry forward.
All right. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. So then we had Miro come out, basically celebrate winning the TNT championship. Made sure to thank Jesus Christ for winning the title. He said he took what Darby said couldn't be taken, did what he said couldn't be done. Said that Darby should go back and do one of his gritty student videos, gritty student films. Pretty funny.
Yeah. Funny.
And he said he will allow someone to challenge for the TNT championship next Friday. Dynamite is on Friday next week.
Oh, presumably, yeah, that's right.
That NBA playoffs little move that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Archer came out and said he's going to make Miro his Bulgarian bitch. Miro said Archer always brings the old man, Jake the Snake, out to hold him back.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's not enough yoga in the world to save Jake if he gets in his way. Miro said everybody dies, but he insists that Lance be first. Yeah, this was masterful. And getting back to what we were saying before about reacting to the crowd, when the crowd was saying Miro sucks, they're booing him, they want Darby, he held up the title and said, here's your Darby.
Yeah, that was great.
I thought that was that was yeah.
I actually thought of you when he did that. I was just like, that's playing the crowd. I was just like, I know you're all about that. I was like, that's playing right into what they're doing.
I would say I'm all about it, and I loved this. This is exactly who Miro needs to be. I mean, I'd be shocked if he dropped the belt anytime soon. I wouldn't mind seeing him wrestle Lance Archer a couple times, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
I'm actually very excited for that match. I think it might be, I'm not sure, maybe a little early because I can't see Miro losing anytime soon. I think he's gonna flourish. Like honestly, this promo is great, and he like called out Jake Snake Roberts too. He's just like, no amount of DDP yoga is gonna save you if you ever come near me or whatever. I was like, damn, he's just
Oh my
still he's
gosh.
firing off on all cylinders.
This goes back into my genuinely funny bucket. This is what
Yeah.
made me think of it, was just, oh my gosh, they were just crushing. Like if Miro plays his character,
he's a very funny guy here. Like even backstage, everyone says like, oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, love him. All right, so then we got into the main event, the Varsity Blondes versus the Young Bucks. The Bucks were super heelish throughout, of course. We'll get into some of the specifics, but they eventually won with a tap out. Had some cold spray, definitely interference there. Mox and Kingston did show up. Yeah, showed up at the end. They put out the Bucks with holds, and then they stole their shoes. And
very street move.
Yeah, and they're going to be competing with each other at Double or Nothing. So yeah, your take?
Yeah. I thought the match was good. I did see that the Varsity Blondes seemed a little bit more kind of like green, as in like I could sense that like, okay, this is like our main event like shot right now.
Yeah.
So like when I think it was a time where like Brian Pillman was like taking the heat of getting like getting beaten down, and he's trying to go for that hot tag. Like I just saw that guy Griff Garrison go like crazy. He's like sprinting back and forth. I was like, I get that you're excited, but that makes you look like the weirdest guy in the room. So like, I was like, oh, all right. But like he had a great hot tag and all that stuff. Classic heel stuff. Like they sprayed the cold spray, which I didn't think this was going to be a thing, but it is. And like, I just see their Julia Hart there, and I'm like, they're definitely going to spray her in the face. And then of course they did. And they're just doing it. Like it was a good match. Like Young Bucks like know what they're doing, and they're doing the classic heel stuff. And it's just,
I was going to say,
yeah,
it's like this just in, Young Bucks, very good. Like I agree with you though. Like, but that was my takeaway too. Like, man, they made this kind of green. They definitely look green. Like team look good, especially with Julia Hart. Like they got this little heel stuff going on with the cold spray, but even how it didn't work, then it did work, then it didn't work.
It was just like
that was good.
Yeah, they just constantly do it. I even like the ending where like they kind of do like their typical Young Bucks move where like they springboarded and like slam their face in, but like they did it into a sense of like being like bad guys and heels instead of just doing moves, because that's what people like don't really get, right? Is they'll just get their moves in. They're like, oh, I still want to do it, but they're like, yeah, but they're cheering you when you're doing that, so that shouldn't be like the smartest thing, but they know how to do it in a heelish way. And then at the end, like Mox and Kingston are doing great. Love that they stole their shoes. Such a street move. It's just like hilarious. Also, Don Callis owning it every time he's on there. Like honestly, I couldn't even count a second when like Don Callis turned around and saw them. He fleed and sprinted so quickly out of the ring, looking like this little coward like that he's portraying. I'm like, dude, this is like hilarious. This guy just sprints as fast as he can, does not care about anyone but himself. But it's like so funny how like that goes or whatever. But they're green. The Varsity Bonds are green, but the match is still.
They look good. They still looked. Yeah, they were still good.
Yeah.
Right, and it's testament to the Bucks that they're doing that. I'm a sucker for rope walking. Love that.
Yes,
that was fun. Oh, I do. My only other note was I would like sometimes like a little more structure in a Bucks match. Like I'd like to see them do one where they're not breaking the pin up constantly. They're not just in the ring constantly. I know ultimately they do follow the rules, and that's kind of nitpicky, but I would just like to see them check it out and or try it out maybe at some point. But at the same time, you know what? It's always good. It's always fun. Yeah. They would probably say that's what we do.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's do our Rocket and anchor.
Sure.
All right, for Rocket, I'm gonna. This is a stupid one, but you know what? He deserves it. I think you already know what I'm gonna say. Max Caster's raps.
Oh yeah, man. They're too good, man.
This
They're
guy,
too good. Just fire every time.
he had me rolling. He had me laughing a lot, and then I was checking out like what Renee said about it. Like I went to her Twitter to see like if she responded to it, and sure enough, she did. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was funny.
That was good, man. That was honestly, it was like super good how I was going back and forth of like what things I generally enjoyed and when we kind of like went through. Like I saw like the Miro promo was so good. Like just him just like making his
Mm,
jokes going out of the way and all that stuff. And just like even the pinnacle stuff was good, but I'm a big sucker for tag team wrestling. So not only will I say probably my rock if I ever give it a specific one, is probably Mox and Kingston against the Acclaimed, like
mm.
including the rap in there. That's just been so good, and their match is good. Mox and Kingston have been killing it. And have such good get and take. Even their promos, as in like, oh yeah, it's his rapper and his rapper's friend. Like they're just funny talking with each other. But like as a whole, like not as a specific as my rock of the night is just tag team wrestling. Like we're kind of seeing this unfolding a little bit. It's pretty cool. Like we got established teams like the Young Bucks. We got like now Mox and Kingston going in, but we're also kind of seeing the future. Like talking about years down the line, we got these new guys in the Acclaim that they're killing it, doing great, and then we got guys that have been thrust into the TV main event in the Varsity Blondes, and no one really knew who they were like a couple months ago, and now they've been doing pretty well, and they have characters. They're taking these tag team wrestling very seriously, so that's gonna be my rocket as a whole. Is just tag team wrestling is like it's good right now and it looks good going into the future. We could see these guys like tagging and are going against each other for quite some time and seem like they're gonna have a lot of fresh stories.
I love it. I love you getting creative with it.
Yeah.
Um, my anchor is Jade Cargill because I'm ready for something else. I don't need to see her talk about wanting a manager anymore.
Yeah. I was gonna say Jay Cargill, but like I don't know, it might have been too short for me to like kind of look at that, but that's been going on a while. Like, yeah, I
I
feel
want
like
more. I
yeah.
want more from it, so that's why I'm picking on it.
Maybe the Sheida versus Rebel. The Rebel Reba thing, I think just bothers me for no reason. So like I automatically kind of have a sour taste in my mouth when even like kind of like talking about that. But like I don't know why they treat her as like this quirky in the ring type of person. I actually read or heard that she's like very good or experienced or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like there wasn't really much substance to this match at all. The post match was like the whole point of it. But that was probably my anchor of the night. It's just like kind of
Yeah.
like could have made something out of it like at this point because they had a lot of promos this whole show, so many like kind of promos, which is fine, but like if you take one promo out, like you're not really hindering someone, and then you could put into this match, and then you could really add Rebel's character or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that's my anchor for the night.
Yeah, I could see that. This show in general. So, talking about rating, I'm gonna give it a 7. I thought it
Yeah.
was good, but it was very clearly to me the first show where the point wasn't the show. The point is they're getting to Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that goes hand in hand with what you're saying. There's a lot of promos. There's a lot of small segments, but
Mhm.
they weren't just to serve what was going on. They
Mhm.
were kicking it to May 30th. So that's fine. But for that reason, I'm going to say a 7 because it was still good, but
That's what was
it,
weird about it. Like it was,
yeah,
I was gonna give it a 7.5, but like honestly, if you just take this episode out and then you go into next week's show, no one would have noticed at all. Like nothing was really advanced.
right.
Everything was told the same way, but there was still good segments. Like you still had like our Rockets of like the claimed and Mox and Kingston was still good. You had Miro promo that was just like hilarious and good at the same time, and then you got the Young Bucks
Hmm.
match was still always still good. But it's just weird if as in like, oh
Yeah,
okay, skip this and
the
it's
only
it's done.
the only thing it advanced was Mox and Kingston to fighting the Bucks for the titles instead of
Right.
just
And if
fighting
they
them.
announced it, would anyone really argue or say like throw their arms in there like, oh, what the hell and stuff like that? But
Yeah,
it's just like that. That's why I'm like thinking, I'm like, oh, this like I enjoyed a lot of things, but I'm like, but this was so like weirdly unnecessary.
Yeah, it was strange to see like a go home show from AEW, who I feel like doesn't typically do that kind of thing, basically.
Yeah.
And it's not even technically the go home show. So
No,
let's
it's
get
not.
into
Yes.
our schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
So the next Dynamite is next Friday,
Mhm.
the 28th. So we're not going to be recording after that. We're going to wait until after Double or Nothing. So hopefully we'll come at you on either the 31st or the 1st,
Yeah.
June 1st, with our next episode. And for that reason, let's really quick. I don't want to take too long, but we're going to give some predictions for Double or Nothing. So I have the Wikipedia up here. So if anything is wrong on the card, don't blame me. Okay. So starting, we'll just do quick predictions.
Yeah.
So Young Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston for the tag team championship. It's too early to me.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks win this.
Yeah, give me the Bucks on that one. Even though Mox and Kingston are great, and if they win, that would be such like kind of like a crazy like not upset, but like exciting as like, whoa, we didn't see that coming. But I think the Bucks will take that one.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so then we have Darby Allin and Sting versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
I would like for Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky to take this one, to be honest, but I have no idea of like how they would make Sting's first match in like 6 years of an in-ring match.
Second? Oh, you think they're going to be that cinematic?
No. They specifically, I remember the announcers even on the show said this is not a cinematic match. This is going to be his first in-ring match in like 6 years or something. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to lose at this point. So I think Sting and Darby got him.
I think I'm going to pick Page and Sky.
What?
I think that they're going to get some
disagreement. Juice. That's crazy.
I think they're going to cheat or something, and that's how they may win. But yeah, I think they're going to win.
They will get some momentum off that. I'll be very curious on that one.
Yeah. Well, right. That's the thing. They have to do something with them.
Yeah.
All right. So then we have Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle in Stadium Stampede 2. If the Inner Circle loses, they have to disband. For that reason, I got to say Inner Circle. I don't think the Pinnacle can win 2 of these in a row.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking Pinnacle when they first announced it last week, but then like thinking about it, I kind of changed my mind on that. Like, I just think that like if they really have no set plan of what to do with the Inner Circle, when they all break up, then like what's the point of breaking up, especially when they're so like faction heavy in this company?
What's the Pinnacle going to do? Are they really going to go after all the belts? That doesn't seem fun to me.
I don't know if Inner Circle wins, and then I could see them, because like I'm kind of like waiting on like I'm excited. I'm super excited for this Stampede match, but I'm also kind of like excited for their like remember when like they first formed, we were excited about all these feuds. I'm like, oh, let's see like Santana Ortiz against FTR, or like Spears and Guevara, and all those like matches. Like we still have not gotten any singles or tag matches from that really, except maybe like 2 random ones. So I can
they could do a gauntlet.
That.
They could do like a gauntlet thing,
something like that. So we'll go Inner Circle on that one. Stick with the group.
Nice. All right, Miro versus Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. Miro's got to win this.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked that they announced this match so soon, because like Archer is like, he's great. Like honestly, ever since he debuted, and like I liked him being this tweener monster guy. And now like they kind of were going back and forth. He was doing something with like Sting, and now he's not doing something with Sting. It's kind of like they don't know what to do with them. So they threw him in with Miro. It's gonna be a great match. I think so. But
I agree with that.
I think Miro's gonna win, but unfortunately Archer losing doesn't bode well for him. So that's why I'm kind of shocked they have this.
I wonder if he loses. I wonder if even if Archer wins and then Miro demands a rematch and wins it back or something, like I could see that
interesting. Too. They don't really do title changes. They try and make sure that like
they
keep it to a minimum, but that can make it more exciting.
All right, Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage with Taz. Just a match. I really don't know here. You pick first.
You're thinking about this, or you're messing with me? Because honestly, I see this as Hangman all the way. There's
I would
question about it. This is one of my.
I would love that. Oh, okay. I don't know, but I mean, like, yeah, they're like.
Well, what's gonna do is Brian Cage gonna win again, and then he's gonna be like, okay. And then he's
the
like,
first win wasn't legit though. The first win wasn't legit, so I could see them having him win and be like, "See, like I told you I could beat you."
He's been getting the upper hand a lot. Honestly, this is one of my very confident picks. I see Hangman definitely winning this without a doubt.
All right, just for fun, I'm gonna say Brian Cage then.
You're the Hangman guy.
I know, I love Hangman. He'll be around. Don't worry. You said I have to wait.
Oh yeah, I gotta
Right.
wait for that. You gotta wait for it. When the crowd comes back, he'll get his title shot in.
Yeah. All right, then a whole bunch of people in this casino battle royale.
Oh yeah, you don't have to rattle names. I'm not gonna put you through that. Give me who you think's gonna win.
Oh, Christian.
Yeah,
Christian Cage.
that's why. It's because who else is in it that's really gonna?
I mean, if it's not him, he's at least gonna be him and somebody else, like him and Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy is gonna win. Like it's one of those.
See, but this is kind of weird that AEW does. They have these like super like important number one contender matches, and then they'll just have the matches and like, oh, okay, like imagine if Jungle Boy wins. They're like, oh, he won the Casino Battle Royale. They make it so like important. And then like, all right, next week, Jungle Boy's gonna go against Omega, and right after this commercial break, like you see how it kind of devalues like that, like winning that much.
Well, that's why it needs to be a Money in the Bank, and I hope that's kind of what they do. I don't
sure if
know.
It's gonna be like that.
I think you're right that it's not, but I wish that it was, and that's my critique on them if it isn't.
So remember that tag team like Casino Battle Royale thing where like it was like Pac and Ray Phoenix won. And then they kind of waited, and I think maybe someone got injured, but they still had the match, or like they went through it anyway. The match was phenomenal, fantastic, but it just seemed weird. I was just like, they just won this big important match, or like even with like Scorpio Sky, like he won that brass ring ladder match or whatever, and then
that was a sham.
Yeah, and he just lost, and then like okay, and then JD Drake, you're up next. You're gonna get a TNT title shot next week with your 0-3 record. And I was just like, this makes no sense.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Gogo. And if Gogo wins this, we'll end the podcast. Cody Rhodes wrestling is the American dream, one night only, unless Cody is like retiring, honestly. Like I can't. Come on, I can't.
Yeah, I see Cody winning unless if he's like taking a break, doing his TV show. He's having a kid coming in and stuff like that. I just see Cody winning this.
Yeah. Agree. All right, Sheida versus Britt Baker for the Women's World Championship.
Oh man, Britt Baker. If it doesn't happen, it's a problem.
Yeah. All right, and then Omega, Orange Cassidy, and Pac, and then we'll leave you. So you just got to pick, and that's it. And we'll explain on the back end.
I'm definitely going with Omega on this one.
Yeah, me too. All right, awesome. Thanks for riding with us. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Click the orange box. Give us your anchors, rockets. Just do it all, man. Just do it all.
All right. See y'all later. Peace.
Bye.